Hey Kings and Dragons, Dragon King 551 here, and today we're back with another Michigan breakdown video. Obviously, game 29 of the season didn't go the way we wanted. Congratulations, little brother, you got the conference. Ultimately, though, we still have to play in the Big Ten tournament, which is great. We're still going to go to March Madness, but there is room for improvement, and I don't like that we are struggling late. And ultimately, I'm just seeing the same things constantly happening in the game and everything. With that being said, let's just go into the stat line. I'll talk more into how, ooh, pardon me. Um, and I'll talk more into how this game didn't go the way we wanted it. So first off, let me just state this. Um, good day. Bad day for a lot of the senior parents to come and stuff. Usually senior day is the last home game of the season. I really feel for Golden, putting on his best performance there. But it's the same issues that I'm seeing happening time and time again. Um, you know, it's just there are so many different things that go wrong. There's 14 turnovers for Michigan constantly a game is how much we average. They're taller than the team, but they're not crashing the boards and they can't get rebounds. And, as they say, water eventually reaches level. And this was a game that reached level for us where we struggled late, played good defense, and this team just outshot us. And some days you haven't, some days you don't. You walk into a gym, you feel like really good. You miss all your shots. You don't play well in a pickup game or something. You walk into a gym, you feel like shit, and you're hitting everything. A day you feel good, your shot falls good. A day you feel bad, and your shot doesn't fall. And ultimately, there are just things that go awry, and everything. It was basically Murphy's Law. Anything that could go wrong went wrong today for Michigan. And the problems, I'm not going to go into the highlight reel because I just don't feel like going through that nonsense and talking about the highlights and the lowlights. Um, but this is another thing that's problematic. Let me put some highlight stuff here and let me highlight this. You got one, you got two, you got three, and you got four. You got three guards, one, two, three, hitting 19, 17, 17, and you got your fourth guy, a forward, who is double digits. Everyone else, so let's use a different color here. Um, let's use white. So everyone else here is okay, that guy had zero, sorry. This guy had eight, this guy had three, this guy had nine, and this guy had seven, which is still great, but everyone else on the team, okay, that, right? But then when you go to Michigan's side here, hang on, let me get out of that. When you go to Michigan's side here to annotate this stuff, and you look at it, let's highlight one guy, right? One guy is the only guy that's scoring 20 points. And that can happen in the NBA where you're still winning the game because other people contribute, where you have a high scoring, but then you have like in 2022 where it's Clay and Jordan Poole also have big games of 15 points and stuff that are actually helping the team out. But what happened here is there's just a lot of stuff that is not working. You got Burnett only having 6 points and not having a good game and stuff, and he's a guard. You got Trey Donaldson only having 9 points. He's a guard. You got Ronnie Gale Jr., who only has four. You got our forward here, or one of our best forwards that's struggling, only has 9 points and like five rebounds. You got Ruby and Jones that did absolutely nothing. You got Burns who did nothing. Will Cheddar had 9 points and stuff. He really wasn't contributing with his 16 points off the bench or 14. Caston only had five, his typical five. Um, and then Fat Brooks had three, and then Justin Pittman had six. And ultimately, it's just like we need to empty the bench more. We need to go to the bench more for certain players and give other players a chance. I think that it's kind of surprising that they're not playing Jace Howard a lot, which is kind of surprising to me. He's a big body. But you look at it where it's 47% versus 46%, pretty much the same. Then they're just shooting lights out from the 3 point line. I mean, there's no way to stop that and stuff. And remember, the three comes when it matters most. They're able to shoot 40% there. And then they're shooting slightly 1% better from the feet from the line and everything. And, you just get blown out. I mean, it's ridiculous. You got 47 rebounds versus 33. So, you know, You got 14 more rebounds than us. Offensively, they got the biggest problem is that we couldn't get a board on when we were playing defense to stop them from getting a board. And it was basically it was basically that scenario in 2013 with the Ray Allen shot. You know, James fires a three, won't go. Bosch gets a rebound. He fires to Allen, three-pointer, will go. And that's just basically what the game was. One three, one and go. Kick it out. Oh, trying to readjust. Oh, here comes a three. It's good. This guy misses. That guy gets a rebound. Back out three. Back out three. Back out three. Driving to the layup. Can't stop them. And it's just those rebounds. So they had 24 offensive boards. I mean, it's nine more offensive boards than us. And then, they had five more defensive boards and they're just able to get them and stuff, which baffles me because all of our guys are bigger and taller than most of these Big Ten teams that I've seen play. And we should just be jumping and getting the rebounds, and we can't. And then we didn't even move the ball around a lot. Played really selfish, only had 9 assists versus 20, 3 blocks versus 2 blocks, and then you got 4 steals versus 6 steals, and then you got 11 turnovers in this game versus 9. Look, they fouled us more at the line, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say that certain games you're just going to get blown out. Now, we've only been blown out twice. Purdue, um, on the road at Purdue and then at home and stuff. And, you know, at the end of the day, some days you just don't have it, but it's just recurring problems. And I'm not going to say Dusty May doesn't deserve to be in the talks of Coach of the Year, but there's a lot of stuff that's going outside that's distractions off the court. You got Golden, who I don't even want to say it, but you got Golden who's talking about his relationship and putting a ring on his girl's finger. Then you got outside problems where you got players injured. Sam Waters has a back problem. Jones had the flu. The flu has been running rampant around the whole entire country of people. Then you got I also had the flu at one point. Then you got fucking Dusty May getting a contract signed at the worst time announcing that shit when they should have just kept quiet about it until the season was over and then signed him. And they brought in a lot of these recruits. Trey Donaldson was an Auburn player. Danny Wolf was a Yale player. Burnett was at Alabama for 2 years. You got Golden, who was at Florida Atlantic. And then you got a couple other players. Cheddar was the one player that actually stayed there and tried to recruit some of these players and stuff and help convince them to play here. But then you got none of the actual other players coming off the bench. Then you got Gale, who came from Ohio State to Michigan, which was just like he doesn't play well. And ultimately, it's just a bad game. Now, do I say that this is an unsuccessful season? No. Do I think that they should come away with a championship in the Big Ten play or a national championship this year? Absolutely not. It is the first year back since we've had bad year after bad year. But the thing here is, what I'm seeing is that I'm not seeing 2020 um, that 2020-21 run. I don't think Michigan can really go far with this team. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Michigan. But I'm not seeing like the coaching. Dusty May is a good coach, but I'm just not seeing the good execution this game is having. And ultimately, they have to do better as a team. You got to get rebounds. And the biggest problem that I think that this team faces is you're not playing your full bench. You're not going to your bench rotation and stuff. You have a lot of players on the bench you should go to, see if they can help and stuff. And go to your bench instead of having an 8-man rotation and stuff. You should get playing time for a lot of players. I mean, Jace Howard's a senior. I don't know why you have him on the bench. See if he can actually do something and create a shot for them. Then you got players, there. And the biggest problems I'm seeing is rebounds. 3-point percentage is horrible. I remember Michigan's 3-point percentage in 21 was amazing with Shoddy Brown, Wagner, Livers, Jordan. I don't know why I keep saying Jordan Poole, but all those players that were there, Hunter Dickinson and I think his name was Mike Williams. I think was one of our point guards as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Mike Williams. This year, not a lot of good 3-point shooting. The wins and losses And these are just two outlier games, but the wins losses have been by 5 points or less. They've been playing good and stuff. But those Wake Forest and those Oklahoma games, I don't think we should have lost those games. I think that we should have won those. But at the end of the day, the game is the game. You got to deal with it. Michigan is definitely going to bounce back, hopefully, against Maryland. But that's probably going to be their toughest opponent before they go on the road. I would love to see revenge against Michigan State. I just don't see Michigan State dropping one. They already beat the two toughest on the road and at home, which was Purdue and Wisconsin. And I just don't see that happening for the Michigan Wolverines going on the road, taking one from Michigan State. They'll still win the conference. And ultimately, there's no way for them to drop unless they drop against Iowa. Maryland loses to Michigan, and they both finish at 24-7 or whatever it is for the season. And ultimately, that's where I just don't see Michigan doing it. But let me know your thoughts on all of it. I hope there's improvement. I hope that they can do better. And the biggest problem I also see is the rebounding is terrible. The foul shooting is god awful. Again, the only players that I think are Burnett and Chet are on this team that have between 70 to 80% range, where you just don't have those guys like Eli Brooks, who was a 95 or a 91% from the line. You had Isaiah Livers, which was in the 80s, Franz Wagner, which was in the 80s, and you had Hunter Dickinson, which was in like the 70s, 80 range, and a couple of other guys. Shoddy Brown was really good. Mike Williams was really good from the line. I just don't see that this year. And, when you get into March and you get into March Madness, hitting your foul shots is the biggest important to win. I'm still gonna ride with my boys this year. I'll probably pick them in the bracket to win the whole thing, just be idiotic with it. Got to stay loyal to your team and stuff. I know a lot of people don't do that when their team is in. They'll pick whoever they want because they want to win that money in their pool that they are with. But for me, I do both. I picked UConn when Michigan wasn't in, and ultimately I'll pick Michigan when they're in because it's just my loyalty. And I just don't want to betray my team by picking a team just to win a stupid bracket with money and stuff. I feel I want them to win it all, so that's why I always pick them. But let me know your thoughts on it all. So until next time, guys, don't forget to stay radical. I'll see you in the next one. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and let me know your thoughts on the Michigan Wolverines, how they're developing for all you Michigan fans out there. Because right now I'm a little shaky with them, but I still have confidence and belief in them that they'll do some damage. And honestly, I do think that Dusty May can improve this team. Remember, Dusty May has come in the same way that Jim Harbaugh has come in. With Jim Harbaugh, we had 9-3 seasons, and there was no expectations for him at the time to beat OSU or beat Michigan State or beat Penn State. It was just like, okay, I don't see him process, and eventually he won a national championship for us. The same thing can happen with Dusty May. It's a process. He's coming in under the radar after a bad season. 8-24 in those 19-12 seasons. Our only good season, 23-5 with Juwan Howard. And ultimately, that's where I'm going to leave it. See if he can continue to improve and keep us in the 20 game winning streak and everything else. But until next time, guys, don't forget to stay radical. See you in the next one. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button.